n8n is free and open source, Twin is not. So why did I choose Twin? See, everyone's heard of n8n by now. It's free, it's open source, it's self-hosted. It sounds too good to be true, right? Well, I just tried to set up n8n and I tried to be building automations and it took me hours. But then I discovered Twin and I realized it was exactly what I was missing. So here's the thing that people don't tell you about free tools. Free is not really free if it takes you 20 hours to set up and then another 20 hours to learn all the nodes, all the configurations, build all the workflows. See, with Twin, it does cost money, but it saves me 10 plus hours a week, and that is far more worth than paying the subscription. Okay, now to get Twin for free, you need to actually go ahead and self-host it. Now that simply means taking n8n software and self-hosting it on your own servers and on your own computers. Now I'm going to be using DigitalOcean as a self-hosted service that we can actually go ahead and use as an example. So you can see in order to actually create these n8n, servers, we need to create what we call, droplets. So that means setting up our servers, setting up where the regions is, making sure it's always maintained, it always has uptime on it. So we can see in DigitalOcean, this is just an example of a requirement that you need to have, right? So you actually need to know how to configure droplets. You need to know how to configure different CPUs, which is a whole nother story. You need to know how to configure it in your own server, manage your own server, and then launch it as well and upkeep it on your computer as well. So that, again, will take a lot more time, and there also is a small cost involved as well. So again, we can see right here, you need to know how to essentially manage your CPU options. So these CPU options, essentially the servers that require your n8n server to keep uptime. So again, the more that you're going to be using n8n on your self-hosted version, the larger the CPU options need to be. So again, you're going to need to know exactly how all of these gigabytes work, these RAMs. Again, I don't really know a lot about this, but this is just the general overview. You need to choose what CPU option you need. So again, this is obviously a cost right here. Depending if you're using n8n a lot, it's going to obviously rack up in cost upwards of $60 to $50 a month as well. So we can see you also need to know how to constantly update it. Since you have it on your own servers, you need to know how to update the app. You need to know how to load new droplets. You need to know how to load new software updates, etc. Right? So you need to actually go ahead and figure out how to do that as well. And then once you get into n8n, you have to learn the entire software, basically from scratch once you figured out how to self-host it for free. So we can see right here, n8n does have a high learning curve. Essentially, all of these different nodes, is what we call them, are different data points. So you need to know how to configure all the different nodes. You need to know how to work all the different APIs. So for example, this is an example of a n8n workflow that I have built and designed. Obviously, it's come up red because I haven't configured everything just yet. But we can see this right here is a webhook. You need to know how to configure your webhooks, copy the webhooks, paste the webhooks inside your different data points. That's a whole another story to these automations, is that Twin will literally do everything for you. This is only just one piece of the puzzle to your automations. You need to know how to connect these webhooks to different API endpoints as well. And then n8n also have AI agents, so you need to be very sufficient in prompt engineering. So you need to know how to prompt these AI agents with the current time. You need to know how to prompt these agents effectively. And then from here, we also have all these different nodes and API endpoints. So, you need to know how to connect your API keys from OpenAI. You need to know how to configure and update nodes and API interactions. So we can see this is a Google Calendar node right here. You need to know how to connect it. You need to know all these different things and how they interact with each other inside the automation as well. And then from here, obviously, these are different nodes and API services such as SMSs, right? And each of these individual nodes have different API endpoints and have different connections. So you need to learn all these different things. And then by the time you've set up your n8n server, you have, configured all the nodes, you've learned everything. It's still going to take you another week to sufficiently start building these automations and start seeing real value. However, if you compare that to Twin, all you need to do is simply just describe what you want to automate, and Twin will do the rest. Twin is going to configure the webhooks, it's going to configure the APIs, it's going to prompt the AI, it's going to prompt the LLM, it's going to fix its mistakes as well, which is something that I didn't even, bother to mention. But essentially, once you've built your workflows, these workflows are going to break. These APIs are going to need updating, and you also need knowledge on how to update those APIs inside n8n. So again, you're going to be spending more time maintaining these workflows. So not only, you don't have to go through the lengthy process of actually setting it up through a self-hosted version, learning the, ins and outs of n8n, you also need to know how to maintain the server. Twin literally does everything for you. You just need to go ahead and sign up to Twin, describe what you want, and that's it. Twin is going to maintain the workflow, it's going to upkeep it, and it's going to build everything out all by itself. So you can see these are all my AI agents inside Twin. You can see I'm literally just typing to the agent and it's building out everything. So you can see these are all my agents that I built, and it saved me a ton of time as well in the future, because all of these agents just run automatically, right? You can see all the runs that are happening with our AI agents, and it's just so much more easier to go ahead and build everything inside Twin. Now look, as I said before, n8n's pricing works in two different ways, right? We have the cloud version, which is essentially going onto the cloud version, just like we are doing with Twin, and going onto obviously their pricing and using their services. So that essentially means that it's not really self-hosted. We have no control over our data. n8n themselves do all the updates, they maintain everything. So we can see their pricing is as follows, right? So we can see they've got the starter plan. This is on an annual. So if we go to the monthly, we can see they've got a monthly plan, which is 24, 60, 800, and then an enterprise contact value. So again, this has workflow executions. This has concurrent execution limits. So essentially you can only have 5 active workflows concurrently running on the starter plan. And on top of that, you have to learn n8n, you have to build everything, and then you also have to maintain the workflows as well. So that's one side of the story to their cloud version. And then the other side of the story, which is the self-hosted version, is on top of all of that, you also have to learn how to set up the server and also maintain the server as well. So it becomes a lot of work as well. And then if we compare that to Twin, we can see that Twin's pricing is only $20 a month, and it goes on a credit-based usage. So the more you use, the more you will be billed, but Twin will go ahead and build out the entire workflow for you. It will maintain everything. It'll upkeep everything. It'll fix off its errors. So you essentially don't even have to worry about all of those things with the self-hosted version, with the cloud version of n8n. And it is actually cheaper than both of those options, and Twin will build out everything for you. But look, if you are a developer and you want full control over your automations and you know exactly what you're doing, and you want more customizability out of all your automations, then by all means go ahead and use n8n. But if you're a business owner, or if you are someone just wanting to run your automations just once and have them built for you, then definitely go ahead and use Twin. You can literally just describe what you want and it will go ahead and build out everything for you. So without further ado, that's going to be the end of this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want more tutorials and you want more things around Twin. Without further ado, I'm Ashton, and I'll see you in the next one.